kind of threw it out to our followers that we were going to have you on the podcast, the overwhelming question was everybody wanted to know when you were down under, did you in fact do a shoey and if you enjoyed it?
I did not do a shoey. To the much dismay of the crowd. Yeah, I just didn't do a shoe. I can't like just really drink while I'm singing anyways. It kind of just I feel like it drives me out. So I was waiting until the end of the set on some of them, but then yeah, I didn't do a shoey. I wasn't gonna do it out of somebody's dirty boot, so they want you to do it sometimes out of their boot. And I'm like, there's no way. But I couldn't find it. I didn't want to, I got some nice boots. I got some nice like vintage boots, I'm not gonna beer those things up. So
I know. I
no,
feel
I
like
didn't. I didn't, but
next time you go down there, you just have to bring like a shoey boot, like just like a brand
yeah,
new boot. Yeah, ready to go.
I think you're right.
I love it. So a lot of other people wanted to know, you've been such a jet setter already this year. You were also, across the pond, sea to sea. A lot of people want to know what was the most interesting thing that you ate while you were over there.
Ooh. Um, we ended up eating a lot of the traveling was so crazy that I mean we pretty much ate catering at the venue uh pretty much all the time. We did make a point though out of trying uh some of the McDonald's in other countries, which they always have something kind of different going on. Um oh man, I wish I could remember the one when we were in the Netherlands. We went to McDonald's there. I want to mess up the name, but it's like the Mick croquet or something, croquette or something like that. But it's kind of this weird fried patty. It was good,
Okay.
but like on like a sandwich thing, I don't know what's in it or anything like that. I can't remember. That's not the name of it, um, but we had to try it. It's something new.
I
And
love
also
it.
too that it's amazing how many other countries still have the snack wrap from McDonald's,
Oh.
which we don't, and I don't know why because it's awesome.
But you have been such a road warrior this year, and we love going through your social media and seeing all that behind the scenes. But I didn't realize that Cody Johnson was such a huge influence of yours. So, I know you talked a little bit about that on a recent post. How has it been touring with him? And what advice has Kojo given you?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, growing up in Texas, I kind of got to see, Cody's kind of rise. I would watch him small clubs in Fort Worth and, then going to like Billy Bob's and stuff like that and seeing him play just kind of a bigger and bigger venue every time. And I always love I love classic country. I love like the old school sound, but man, Cody's just always kind of been an influence to me, especially as a entertainer. He was one of the first guys I really saw live that I went, that guy's doing it right. He knows how to entertain and put on a great show and really always has. And he just keeps getting better and better. But it's been great. It's been so cool. We played those first couple shows and Cody and his crew are so nice and they're so helpful and giving us whatever time we need. Cody's hanging around, he's hanging around during the day. We'll catch up. He watched both of our sets, which is really cool, and had good things to say. Supportive stuff. So it's just cool coming from a guy like that I've looked up to for a lot of years and fellow Texan. And it's really cool. And really so far not a whole lot of stage advice from Cody, but really just watching him, just being able to sit there side stage and watch how he kind of, he doesn't miss a beat in a show. It's so boom, boom, boom. He's really just an expert entertainer, and the way he interacts the crowd and gets them totally 100% on his side is pretty cool.
Has he influenced you to get a hand tattoo yet? Is that going to be on your radar?
No, I mean, if Jelly Roll can't convince me to get a face tattoo, I don't think Cody can convince me to get a hand tattoo. I'm not cool enough for tattoos. I
I mean,
just
they
can't.
don't hurt that bad. I have a little cowboy hat on my hands. They don't really hurt
Well,
that
that's cool.
bad. Yeah.
That's cool.
You
I
just
just
gotta grit your teeth for a couple of minutes. You're good. You're good. But what was your favorite thing about playing to Cody's audiences? I've, been lucky enough to see him play now 4 or 5 times, and that audience is unlike anything I've ever seen. Like they are ready for a show. So talk to me about that.
Well, it's kind of that first show we did. in Massachusetts. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of me trying to figure out my place. I don't want to go too
Yeah.
far one way or too far the other. And my job is to introduce people to my songs, but also warm up the crowd for a really fun night of music. I mean, Justin Moore is on those shows, and it's just a really fun lineup and fun show. So I mean, that's kind of my job, is to get them going. It's not my show. For those 25 minutes, it feels like my show, but it's not. Those people aren't. Most of those people aren't there to see me. And you got to realize that. But so it's just kind of, they've been great. They've been receptive. I mean, I think Cody's crowd is similar to people who like my music, in that they like kind of the old school kind of traditional sound, and I bring some of that. And also too, I mean, I love being an entertainer, and I take a lot of course, Elvis influence, and and putting on a show. So it's cool that Cody's such an entertainer, but I think in a totally kind of different way.
Yeah.
We just kind of have two different styles, which is great, and we've talked about that, of how I'm not going up there trying to be Cody Johnson. So it's nobody can be that. Only he can be that. So, but it's cool to watch and kind of learn from his style too.
I love it. Well, you definitely had your Elvis moment when you were on America's Got Talent. That's how a lot of people found you. So, what has been your biggest takeaway from that experience? Is Simon Cowell actually a nice guy?
Simon is a nice guy. I can attest to that. He was always very cool, especially being on AGT. After like we do results or anything, or after he would come up and talk and give good kind of supportive words. So, yeah, is in fact a nice guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was cool. I mean, being on that show, it is, we did the audition, which was kind of a surreal experience in itself. And then you go on to immediately to the live show, and you're thrown up there, and it's countdown from 10, and there's not only a huge audience in the room and these kind of iconic judges, but you've got 10 million people watching behind all those cameras, and you want to have those moments with the cameras. And it is really fun. It's kind of daunting and definitely nerve wracking, but once you pull it off, and it's kind of, it's hard work. You got to make sure you got to have all your marks, which camera to look to at what moment, where you got to be. But it is kind of a dance, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of an art form in itself. So I took a lot away from that show, and I feel like I'm kind of ready for any stage at this point. I think if you can do that on a live setting, and then it kind of helps me really on any stage we've been on, especially TV.
Yeah, I love that. But now we're excited because we have more than just what we got on AGT. We have a whole new EP. So what kind of prompted the itch to kind of start making an EP, or kind of collecting all those songs?
Well, I mean, that itch is always going for me. I'm always like, I've always been writing since I moved to town, and looking for outside songs too. And I don't know, I'm always wanting to put out new music. But it was really, I mean, we found these songs, and I started working with Trent Willman, and we started kind of going through. We found these songs that I really liked, and my whole kind of thing is finding the old school stuff that feels new, and try to do old school in a new way. And so we felt like we found them, and then when we found Jukebox Songs and Barstool Beers, I was wondering what to name the EP, and I just looked at that Jukebox Songs. I'm like, and that's great, because that's all I'm really trying to find is country songs that feel like they could have been popular in the 80s or 90s or 2000s or whenever, or even today, that could kind of fit in beside some of our favorite, what we know is like jukebox songs, songs like Neon Moon, and some of those great 90s songs that especially a lot of Joe Diffie on the Jukebox Songs there. So but trying to fit in with those and still try to take it to a little bit of a new place and feel fresh. And I feel like we had that with these 4 songs. So and it's cool to see people reacting to them, because I feel like it's kind of a continuation of that first record, but it still feels different in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a sucker for that kind of music. I mean, that's the kind of music that was playing in my house growing up. So I love when people are kind of bringing that sound back. But when you first heard I Got a Problem, what were your initial thoughts, and why were you like, okay, this is a Drake Miligan track, like this has to be on this EP?
When I first heard it, a great song, by the way, written by Justin Wilson, Jesse Alexander, Will Bundy. Justin singing on the demo, and the demo was kind of a track put together, and it wasn't necessarily in my style. And I heard it. Katie Kirkover, my A&R at Broken Bow, played the song for me, and I'm like, well, I'm like singing along by the last chorus, and really that first kind of intro really caught me. Justin's a great singer, and singing that intro, I'm like, that's so cool. It's kind of a, almost just some songs before that have done that, and yeah, I mean, I was singing along by the end of it, but I thought, man, how am I going to make this mine? And that's really the first song that I've cut that I didn't co-write. And I went home and learned the song, got the lyrics, and sat down with the guitar. And within a few minutes, I found the thing that can make it mine, And I was like, oh my gosh, this feels like my song. And it really kind of a really fulfilling moment. Almost as fulfilling as writing a good song is taking a song. Because I mean, there's just so many great songwriters and great songs here in Nashville. There's people waking up every day, that are far better songwriters than me, that are doing it. And I've always kind of wanted to be somebody who kind of carries that torch for Nashville songwriters, especially, and be an artist that cuts outside and can take a song and make it their own. I think that's how you build a strong career. I look at some of my heroes, guys like George Strait, made a whole career of a lot of number ones on a lot of outside songs. So it was just cool. That was a great experience of kind of finding out I have my sound. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm a real deal artist because I can take a song that's not mine and make it feel like my own.
I love that. So now that the songs are out and you've clearly been playing them live, is there one that you are finding that fans are just loving when you do it live?
Well, I Got a Problem is a lot of fun. People have learned it. It's such a singable song, and we'll do it at the end of it. We'll do kind of a sing along kind of chorus, and that really impressed me with how people. I mean, I knew it was such a singable song from the time I heard it, but to see people reacting to it, and also to see people reacting to "Don't Leave Me Loving You." A lot of people have been really kind of struck by that song, and it kind of surprised me a little bit. It's kind of a more of a ballad, kind of sad song, something that I haven't done a whole lot of. I guess at this point I'm kind of known for the more tempo kind of rocking things, and it's been cool to see people react to that song, and it's great to see because I love the song.
Well, sometimes sad country makes people happy in a very kind of backward sort of way. So I
It
am very
does for
guilty
me.
of that.
Yeah.
But I always have loved music videos, what I mean, not to age myself, but I grew up in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So music videos, especially like CMT, getting ready for school in the morning, was some of my faves. Oop, did we lose? Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. But instead of giving us a traditional music video, you gave us like a whole like just little documentary, and I loved it with Girl Problem. So chat with me about the creative process there and why that was ultimately like the right decision for you.
Well, I mean, we've always had fun. My manager Leslie Greif is in the film industry, great producer, and has made a ton of great series and movies. And we've done that from the beginning. I had a project on my first EP, self-titled, that was called Dreamsville. The music videos were, and we just kind of try to make a mini movie. And that's kind of the same thing we did with this, with Girl Problems. Is try to put all these songs together and have fun and do something a little different, and kind of, it lets me kind of go back into acting a little bit, and try to dust off that thing. And yeah, it's just a ton of fun. And this one was really fun because I got to bring in a lot of like my friends, my band, and kind of give everybody some great cameos in the video. So that was really cool.
I love it. So I also know that you are a Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, native. Go TCU. That's where me and my whole family went. So go Horned Frogs. But when I was letting my family know that I was chatting with you, everybody wanted to know if you had been to Joe T. Garcia's and if you had a go-to order.
Well, yeah, I mean, Joe T's, of course. Yeah, of course, been to Joe T's. I mean, the fajitas are great. I mean, the margaritas are why you go to Joe T's, honestly. Yeah, so lots of great times at Joe T's. If you can get in,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I know that's our problem these days is you have to be able to get in. But I feel like, we're just through Q1 of 2024, and I feel like you have checked off a lot of boxes. You've done a lot in a short amount of time, but if there's one more thing that you could do before another year rolls over, is there something that you could share that you'd like to do?
I definitely want to get back in and make some more music. We got a couple little things on the burner, but I definitely want to get in there and cut another record. I've been writing in between being on the road and still have a lot of songs kind of stacked up from the last few years. So I definitely want to get back in the studio and just keep the ball rolling.
You're listening to